So we're going to talk leadership in a VUCA world. So what is leadership? Many say leadership is essentially just influence, right? I say yes, and I believe that leadership, along with influence, is the ability to either innately or through training, learn the behavior, be able to make an informed decision, stick to that decision, and provide resources to your team to accomplish your objectives that you have envisioned together. That's what I think about when I think about leadership. Now, leadership in a VUCA world, however, demands a new thought of thinking, all right? So today's complexity requires us to shift from managing for stability to leading for innovation and adaptability. And at the same time, we still need to be able to provide what our consumers like, right? Or else if they leave, there's no money, right? No money, no business. So my talk this evening centers around adaptive skills, which we'll discover through a complex of leadership theory. This approach will give you young entrepreneurs specifically, the ability to enable your organizations to meet complexity with complexity, foster innovation, learning, and growth through emergent processes. So I know some of you are wondering, like, what is this VUCA thing? It sounds so mysterious, right? So let's break this down. Make sure you have your pens and paper ready. So the V stands for volatile. We are experiencing unprecedented volatility in our world today, from global conflicts to political and environment instability. Got a ton of volatility. The U stands for uncertainty. This volatility we talked about brings uncertainty into financial markets, into our housing markets, and also in our respective business environments across the world. The C stands for complex. We face increasing complexities in regulations, policies, and disruptive technologies like artificial intelligence. And last, the A stands for ambiguity. Ambiguity causes us to navigate through the haziness of the unknown when it comes to business. So, drawing on the lessons that I've learned from John C. Maxwell, by the way, write this book down. This is where the principles that I'm talking about tonight, these are where I got those from. It's called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. I'm going to share some tools that I have used to transform my leadership over the last 25 plus years, and ones that will help you thrive in a VUCA world. All right, so the question I get mostly from young entrepreneurs when I start mentoring them, like, Dr. Cal, where do I start? Well, the first step is you have to develop intuition. So let's talk more about this. Intuition isn't just for our superheroes. No, intuition is a mathematical formula. Write this down. Facts plus instinct plus intangible factors. What are those intangible factors? We're talking about employee morale. We're talking about organizational momentum. We're talking about relational dynamics within our teams. This is what determines your intuition, availability, and ability. I'm going to say it one more time because that's a lot of information, right? So we got facts plus instinct plus other intangible factors. That is going to equal your intuition ability. So you see, leaders, we got to be on all the time. We don't get days off. You can't be a slothful person if you want to be a great leader. So we have to be on all the time. Leaders have to know every aspect of their business, have relationships with people on their team, and be able to read the room and relate to everyone in there. That way, when things are off, the leader is the first one to know, not the last one to know. Great leaders have the ability to step back, recognize when the ship is off course, and correct it and steer us towards success. That's what a great leader also embrace self-accountability. I'll say it again, radical self-accountability. What does that mean? True leaders require unflinching honesty when it comes to where their blind spots are. And what they do is they surround themselves with people who have strengths in those areas where they have weakness. That's a mature, great leader. All right. Now let's talk about the law of magnetism. So think for a second about the qualities of the individuals that you would like to see on your team as you scale your organization. So think about it for a second. The second question I have is, do you have those leadership qualities? As a leader, you attract the type of people that possess the same qualities as you. So where are those areas where we match up? Well, first, generationally. A lot of young entrepreneurs normally will hire people around their same age. Now, I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm just telling you the facts about it. But if you think about it, if all you have is other people that have the same experience as you, how are you going to go to the next level? So think about that as you bring people onto your organization. Generational gaps, right? Secondly, let's talk about attitude. Now, this is very important for us, right? When we think about attitudes, you attract the types of people that have the same attitude as you. And more importantly, attitudes in your team normally become aligned. So you have to be careful of who you bring into your environment. Third, background. So people attract and are attracted to others that have similar backgrounds. So what are we talking about? This could be race, this could be education, this can be, skill set, this could be hobbies. Again, we want to have people with different perspectives in our organization. So be careful not to just pick people who look like you, okay? Values, whatever characters you possess is what you'll likely find in the people who do what? Follow you. Your values are going to align within your organization. And then lastly, giftedness. Now, this is one of my favorite things to think about, right? So people are attracted to talent and excellence. No one goes out and says, we're going to be number 10. No, everyone says we're going to be what? Number 1. So figure out what you do really well. Become the top 1% to 5% in that area, and people will pay you and respect you for what you do. Again, if I want to be a great leader, I can't be slothful. If you're dissatisfied with your leadership ability and the people that you're attracting, that's why I'm here tonight, to hopefully give you some information and education that will help you go to the next level. But it only works if you put it to work. Now, let's talk about momentum. This is one that doesn't get talked about quite a bit, but I love momentum. Momentum is the great exaggerator. Why? It's like looking at your company through a magnifying glass. It's going to make everything look bigger, right? Because momentum has such a great impact, though, leaders, especially young entrepreneurs, they attempt to control it. Don't do that. When you have momentum on your side, don't worry about the small problems, and those bigger problems, they'll work themselves out. Momentum actually makes a leader look better than they are. Momentum changes everyone's perspective of you when you have it on your side. When my team is in a nice groove and momentum's on our side, people will say like, oh, he's a genius. They'll write articles about me and they think that I'm missing that. No, I just have momentum on my side and I'm riding that momentum. Momentum also helps your performers, your folks on your team perform better. Why? Because when momentum is in the organization, people get excited about what we're doing. They are excited about coming to work every day. They're excited about giving their highest level of performance. You've been there before. If you're an entrepreneur, for the most part, you've probably learned what you learned working for someone else. So that excitement that you brought working for someone else, I want you to bring it as a leader and lead your team through it. Lastly, momentum is the leader's responsibility. Yes, you, Julius. Yes, you. It's your responsibility. It takes a leader to create momentum, but also a leader can quash momentum. They can crush the momentum of the team. Creating momentum requires someone who has what? Vision. They know how to build a great team, and they also are a great motivator. Is that you? Are you a great motivator? The leader cannot, I will repeat, the leader cannot be waiting on someone to motivate him or her. We have a saying here in America, if you can't cook, get out of the kitchen. If you can't lead, get out of the way. It's okay. Everyone wasn't made to be a great leader. But if you want to be a great leader, these are the attributes that you have to learn and put into your tool bag. As I land the plane for today, let me close by saying that priorities and sacrifice are simply part of the game when we talk about being a great leader. Leaders have 3 questions that they need to ask themselves monthly, quarterly, and yearly. What are those 3 questions? Well, number 1, what is required of me today? As a leader, you're always taking off one hat, putting on another hat, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you've had to do that. One day you're cleaning the commodes, the next day you're figuring out the accounting for the company. One day you're selling, one day you're building. So as a leader, we're always putting on different hats. So you have to be willing to do that. What is required of you today? Secondly, what gives the greatest return? Somebody put in chat, why are we in business? Why do we do what we do? Well, we do it because we want to have good products, good services, and we want to make a lot of money, right? If I'm not putting the right activities in place to create a return on the investment, then I'm doing my stakeholders no good. My customers, my employees, my community, I'm doing them no good. And then lastly, what brings the greatest reward? Now, first of all, as entrepreneurs, we put our head down, we work every day, 40, 60, 80 hours a week, right? Reward yourself. This is something that I had to learn. I learned later. I wish I would have learned it earlier, but reward yourself. Take a moment to smell the roses and accept the wins that you've gotten. Now, I'll add this when it comes to rewards. As the leader, don't smell the roses too long, okay? As a leader, as a great leader, what you want to do is you want to always give away all the accolades. Hey, the team did it. I was just here to help. The team is the one that should be getting the trophy, you know, those kind of things. And when things go wrong, you don't throw your people under the bus. You say, what? It was my fault. So you take all of the blame when it comes to anything that comes in regards to negativity around what happened with your company or with your team. Next, let's talk about sacrifice. So when we talk about the sacrifice principles, I want you to remember this. Sacrifice undoubtedly must be properly managed. So what do I mean when I say that? When I was doing my doctoral work, it took me, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years. I can't even remember now. It was a while ago. So I try not to remember that time, right? But for 8 years, I missed my daughter's soccer games. I missed time with my family. I missed the family cookouts. I missed when people were getting married in other places. Why? Because I had class. I missed church. So there is no success without sacrifice. There can be no success without sacrifice. So what does sacrifice look like for you? I always tell young entrepreneurs, if you spend more than 1 hour a day watching TV, and it's not a TV show where they're teaching you about being a better entrepreneur, a better leader, or learning about money, then you're wasting your time. You have to sacrifice that TV time in order to get your business where you want it to be, okay? So think about this, and this is the homework that I'll give you all, and hopefully next year I'm there in Africa and we can go over your homework and look at it together and see how far you've gotten. I want you to figure out a list of priorities and things that you're willing to sacrifice to reach your goals. Now, if you don't remember anything that I said to you in this 20-minute presentation, I want you to remember this. Progress cannot be made on intentions alone. I'll say it again. Progress cannot be made on intentions alone. You cannot write down notes and intend to go back and read them, but never read them. You can't do that anymore. If you want to be a great leader, if you want to be a great entrepreneur, if you want to be someone that changes your family name and your family tree forever, sacrifice, priorities, and progress. Those are the things that I want you to remember as we land the plane for today. If I can be of assistance to anyone out there, the easiest way to link with me is through LinkedIn. Also on Instagram, I'm at Cal Quig, CalQuig. I encourage you to connect with me on Instagram. I'm always putting out information and videos on leadership and investing tips and those kind of things. So I thank you kindly. God bless you all.